All right, the diamond mystery. We read in chapter 1, we met Maya and Jerry, and they run a detective agency down in Maya's basement. Okay, and there's usually nothing happening, so they're kind of bored. But then they hear a knock at the door, and they don't know who it is. So here we go with chapter 2. A desperate man seeks help. Before Maya could move an inch, Jerry leaped up, ran up the stairs, and opened the front door. Standing on the steps was a man with a bushy black mustache, wearing a striped wool hat and wet shoes. It was Mohammed Karat, the richest man in all of Pleasant Valley. Mohammed Karat owned the jewelry store on Church Street. His store was famous all across the country, from New York to Los Angeles, for its spectacular diamonds, rings, earrings, and other fancy jewelry. What could the jeweler possibly want with Jerry and Maya? Jerry showed Mr. Karat down to their small office in the basement. I think his name is Mr. Carrot, actually. I'm going to continue saying Karat. Welcome, Mr. Karat. Please sit down, said Maya, gesturing toward an empty chair. Mohammed Karat plunked down in the armchair and removed a handkerchief from his coat pocket. He was sweating, and Jerry and Maya could see that he was nervous. What can we do for you, Mr. Karat? Asked Jerry politely. I'm desperate, just desperate for help, began Mohammed Karat. I saw your poster on the streetlight outside my store. Are you still accepting cases? Maya and Jerry nodded eagerly and took out their pens and notebooks. As you probably know, I've owned the jewelry store on Church Street for many years, and business has been booming, started Mohammed. People come to my quiet little store here in Pleasant Valley from far and wide, but now it seems my luck has run out, he said, and blew his nose with a handkerchief. What do you mean? Asked Jerry. My trust has been violated, that's what I mean, exclaimed Mohammed Karat. One of the people working in my store is stealing my diamonds. I'm sure of it. In the past month, 5 extremely valuable gems have disappeared, and I have no idea how. I'm a very cautious man. I require everyone who works in the store to empty their bags and pockets before they go home. But I never find anything. Nothing has been carried out of the store. I'm absolutely certain of that. What did the police think? Asked Maya. The police have been investigating and keeping watch since the very first diamond disappeared. But they don't have a suspect. They said they can't do anything until the thief makes a mistake and gives himself or herself away. Mohammed loosened the tie around his neck. Soon I'll be ruined, and will have to close my store, he sniffed. Without my famous diamonds, my customers will quickly lose interest in my jewelry store alone. I'm going to stop there. For right now, I'm going to ask a question. Thinking back to yesterday's reading, when we ask ourselves questions as we read in the beginning of the book, what is the problem? What is the problem in this book so far? Who can answer my question? What is the problem in this book so far? Looking for a hand. Go ahead, Paxton.
Missing diamonds and gems.
Right. Mr. or Mohammed Karat is missing diamonds and gems. Nice job, Paxton. All right, I'm going to continue. Jerry and Maya could see that Mr. Karat was really upset. This is a tricky situation, said Jerry, scratching his nose with his pen. That helped him think. The police can't do any more to help, and they don't have a suspect. Is that right? Absolutely right, replied Mohammed Karat. But I have an idea. I'll hire the 2 of you to work in my store. While you're working, you can secretly keep an eye on the employees and tip me off to any suspicious behavior. You can help me find out who has been stealing my diamonds. Are you interested? Please say you are. Maya and Jerry exchanged a quick glance. We'll start tomorrow. Chapter 3. The investigation begins. Make sure you're paying attention because on Friday we'll play a Kahoot with this. The next day, the sun was shining brightly. Maya and Jerry each packed a bag containing their detective kits and took the bus to Church Street. They got off in front of the hotel, just down the road from Muhammad Karat's famous jewelry store between the cafe and the post office. Jerry and Maya walked to the old church so they could get a look at the store from across the street. The store was at street level, and Mr. Karat owned the 2 floors above it. So there's a diamond thief in there somewhere, said Jerry. Are you scared? Oh, come on, let's get started, scoffed Maya, dragging Jerry toward the store. They crossed the street and opened the front door. A bell chimed as they went in. Maya looked around carefully. An elderly assistant asked if she could help them. When Maya asked to speak to the owner, the assistant led the 2 detectives to an office at the back of the store. The assistant knocked on the door to the office. Come in, they heard Muhammad Karat call. Maya opened the door, and Muhammad Karat stood up from behind his desk. He walked toward them with his arms outstretched. I'm so glad to see you, he cried. Yes, Irsu.
They're redoing my roof, so you might not hear me.
Okay, that's fine. Then he lowered his voice and whispered, another diamond disappeared yesterday. That's the 6th. I can't understand how they do it. I need your help more than ever. All right, I'm going to stop there. How many diamonds has Muhammad lost? How many diamonds have been stolen? How many diamonds have been stolen? Uh-oh. How many diamonds have been stolen? I just read it. Do I need to reread? Another diamond disappeared yesterday. That's the 6th. I can't understand how they do it. I need your help more than ever. How many diamonds have disappeared? Show me on your fingers. Oh, nice job, Oscar. Nice job, Gabe. Close to Kylie, you're 1 off. Nice job, Paxton. Nice job, Irsu. If you're not showing me your fingers, that tells me you're not listening. Nice job, Heavenly. All right. Jerry noticed the elderly woman lingering in the doorway. She seemed to be listening curiously. So there are 6 diamonds that have gone missing. You may go back to the front, Vivian, said Muhammad Karat, shutting the door behind her. Let's get started, said Jerry, as they settled down on the big brown sofa. Could you tell us about the people who work here and what a typical day in the store is like? Muhammad Karat took out his handkerchief and blew his nose loudly. He walked to his desk, opened one of the drawers, and took out a few photos. The store opens at 10 a.m. and closes at 6 p.m. At some point during that time, a diamond disappears. The whole thing is impossible to explain. I'm going mad, he yelled. Mr. Karat, please try to calm down, said Maya. Excuse me, Mr. Karat said as he collected himself. Other than myself, there are 3 people who work here. Muhammad Karat passed one of the photos to Jerry and Maya. Make sure you're paying attention because they're about to tell us who the suspects are. Vivian Leander, store assistant. You've already met her. She's the one who showed you to my office. Vivian works in the front of the store and helps customers. She's been with the business for many years and has always done an excellent job. But she ran into some trouble last year. Her house burned down, and I believe the insurance company is refusing to pay her any money, explained Muhammad Karat. Apparently, Vivian was behind on home insurance payments, so now she's short on cash. Just last week, she came into my office and asked for a raise. I would be happy to help her out, but as I am sure you can understand, there's no way I can afford a raise now. Jerry scratched his nose with his pen and made a note in his notebook. Suspect, Vivian, and her motive is she needs money. Okay, remember that. Mohammed Karat passed them another photo. Here comes our second. Danny Braveheart works on the second floor just above the store, he continued. He cleans and polishes the jewelry before it's sold. To be honest, Danny is a bit grumpy for my taste, but he's always on time and keeps things in order. He is a trustworthy employee. Danny's dad actually owned this store years and years ago, Mohammed Karat went on, but he had financial problems and had to sell it. That's when I bought the store. Otherwise, Danny would be the boss here today. Jerry didn't have to scratch his nose this time. He simply wrote, suspect's motive, Danny Braveheart wants to take over the store. If I can turn the page. Okay, so that's our second. And our third person, Mohammed Karat passed Jerry and Maya a third and final photo. Luke Smith works on the top floor of the building. He cuts diamonds and sets them into elegant rings and necklaces. Luke hasn't worked here very long, but he's careful and very good at his job. He's worked in the jewelry business for many years, and his previous employers were very pleased with him. Luke likes nice clothes and fast sports cars. He bought a new car just last week, actually. Mohammed Karat laughed. You should have seen Danny Braveheart's face when Luke showed off his new car. Danny looked at the car with disgust, and then at Luke with loathing. 380 horsepower, Luke had bragged and patted the hood. To which Danny replied, you only need 1 horsepower if you choose the right one, and stormed off. None of us, Vivian, Luke, nor I, understood what he meant, continued Mohammed Karat. Danny was definitely in one of his grumpy moods. But like I said, Luke Smith is a nice guy. He's into fitness. He's always going for a jog and carrying around an apple to snack on. Jerry wrote in his notebook, Luke Smith has plenty of money. Where does it come from? All right, then. I think that's all you need to know, said Mohammed Karat as he sprang up from the sofa. Now I'll introduce you to the staff. I'll give you a couple seconds to look at this photo. All right, and that's the end of chapter 3 and all we are going to read today. So make sure you remember those suspects and their motives for tomorrow.